Okay, you pray and then I'll pray.
Okay, perfect. Father, thank you for this time. Thank you because you want to show what are you doing in every life. And this occasion, I am in your hands to be an instrument in this hour. Help in every detail and help to make all the things here. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Lord, thank you for my brother, Daniel. Thank you for his story, that you have given him, what you've done in him and what you are doing and still will do in him in the future. I ask that you would guide our conversation and bless it. Help us to talk of things and that are the important things, the things you are working in his life and you have done. Help us to see you in his story. And I pray that this conversation would be a blessing to many people. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. So, let's see. I know some of your story, or at least I know of the mission story.
Oh, okay, yes.
Because
months ago, yeah.
When you went to, can we say where you went? We can say where you went to the Philippines?
Yes, we went to Philippines and Thailand also.
Okay. So that was last summer.
Yes.
Yeah. So I got to hear that story a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't think I know your story very much.
Oh, my story. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, first, what's your full name?
My full name is David Daniel Ajalla Jimenez. David sometimes is a difficult name because you can spell D-A-I-B-Y. Then some people say David, Davy, but you can choose.
Davy?
David is more common. Yeah.
Davy Daniel
Ajalla
Jimenez. All right. Yeah, you go by Daniel a lot of times.
Yes.
But here a lot of students start calling you Davy.
Depends.
Davy.
Yes, depends. Yes.
But Davy is easier in English. It's easy.
Yes.
Davy is easy because
Yes,
there's lots of common. But it's normally a nickname for David.
Oh, yes.
Davy, I think Davy. Yeah, it'd normally be like nickname. Would be like
Dave.
Apollo.
Yeah.
Like
yes.
Billy is my nickname.
Oh yeah. Okay, understand that. Billy nickname. Okay. Different. The most common, the people usually use the second name Daniel. And before I was using David because was a good name because I like that. But after I prefer use Daniel because Daniel is more easy to the people and more easy to other. It's more common.
Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Yes, it's more easy. That's why I prefer.
Okay, so you're from Bolivia.
Yes, I'm from Bolivia, Santa Cruz City. That's in the south of the country.
Right, it's warmer there a little bit.
Yeah, it's hot. The weather is hot. Little the same here in the valley of Texas, and yeah, humid.
And there's not as many mountains, right? They're not.
Outside the cities, yes.
Outside the city, there's some mountains. Okay.
Yes, but normally the weather is hot and windy sometimes, but you can see the different seasons in the year.
What semester are you in here at the Bible College now?
This is my last semester. Only 4 weeks to finish this time.
Wow, you're about to graduate.
Yes, in this.
I don't think I realized you were about to graduate.
Yes, on May 14 I finished.
Okay, but how long have you actually been here? Or how much did you study online before coming?
Oh yeah, before it was around 1 year. I was taking 7 subjects. But after, when I arrived here, I was studying full-time here, and I was 2 years and a half. This is my last semester.
Okay. Yeah, so you've only been here 2.5 years.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that's different because used to, if someone came in, they were here 4 years. But now, because of online and different things, you can sometimes be here for less time.
More easy. Not more easy, more quick.
Yeah.
That's the word. Yes.
What's your plan for after?
Maybe, usually, the people, when are arriving to this time, when they are finishing the studies, they can understand this situation to a student when it's finishing. Because you are thinking, you are deciding, and you have doubts,
Doubts.
Doubts, yes.
Yeah, you have doubts.
But the conviction for me is church planting. in the future.
Okay.
That's the focus.
Are you in the missions emphasis or the pastoral emphasis?
Missions.
Missions emphasis. Okay. So church planting. Now, in your heart, could you see yourself church planting in Bolivia, or for you, is it you were talking about another country?
I am thinking from Mexico to all Latin America.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's the idea.
Latin America,
Yes,
church
Latin
planting.
America. That's a personal idea, but right now I know what the idea, the focus is church planting, and after the where is something what I have to understand in few time ago, maybe the second step for me.
Okay,
Yes.
so, okay. Well, let's go back and let's talk a little bit about how you got here and what God did in your life before you got here. So what was life growing up for you like?
Before here.
Like, let's say, where did you grow up in Santa Cruz,
Yes.
Bolivia?
And I grew up in Santa Cruz, Bolivia, I am 35 years old.
35?
Yeah, 35 years
Okay.
old. Then
You're a couple years older than me.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I'm still 33 for a few more days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great. That's amazing. Before I was in Bolivia, around the most years I was living there, and I was studying another seminary when I was 18 or 19 to 23 years old, and after I was serving my church, how a youth pastor.
Oh, okay. You're the youth pastor.
Around 7 years maybe.
Okay.
I was involved in the missions and other things. But before, when I finished the seminary, I was living in Ireland for 1 year and a half.
Ireland.
Yes, my mother was living there, then I was living 1 year and a half. And after I came back to Bolivia and I was involved in the ministry, the pastoral ministry, then I was all my years there in Santa Cruz City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have some questions. So you studied at a seminary in Bolivia when you were 18?
19 years
19?
old, yeah.
How long was that study program?
Was 5 years, but I finished in
years.
6 years.
6 years.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so that was a longer program.
Yes. Now they reduced that only 4 years.
Okay. What was the name of that seminary?
Hebron Theological Seminary.
Hebron?
Hebron Theological
Hebron
Seminary.
Theological Seminary. Okay, so why are you coming to seminary again if you already went to seminary the first time?
That's a very good question. When I was in my city, I was involved in the missions in my city, with the church, with the youth, in the ministry, and I had the conviction to prepare me about missions.
Okay.
I was looking a place to do a master's degree, but I never found a place to do a master's degree because was very expensive and I didn't have more time after. But the idea was have more knowledge in missions.
Mm-hmm.
And after, in one day, somebody gave me an invitation to a camp online. And I knew the seminary in that time because it was
This seminary?
Yes, was an online camp.
The online camp during the pandemic?
Yes.
Yeah, they did, because I mean, they're about to do a camp now.
Yes.
Like an actual camp outside, but during the pandemic, we could not go to the churches or things, so they organized an online camp.
Yes.
And you went to it?
Yes, I was there.
What was that like? I don't know what it was like for the people on the other side. I know they said lots of people connected, and I helped with the cameras some.
Was interesting because it was a new experience. Usually we didn't use Zoom in that time.
Okay.
And know people from other countries. It was a new experience for all. It was amazing. I enjoyed that time. But was in that time when I knew about the seminary, some friend of that camp told me, hey, do you want more information about the seminary? And I said yes, and after they gave me the information, and after I knew about missions in the seminary, and I was asking, and they sent me the application, and that was the reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should just, for the people listening in English, just clarify that when we say Seminario Bíblico Rio Grande or Seminario is the same as Bible college for
Yes.
us. So for us, we would say Bible college. So when we're saying seminary, it means Bible college a lot of times.
Yeah.
Okay. So just for the people listening, I know I know the
Okay.
context, but for people listening that might not know. Okay, so you were trying to study a master's?
I was trying
Are you going to gonna study the master's here?
in other place.
Yeah, but are you the master's program or different from another school?
From other school.
Oh, what school are you planning?
I was applying for that, but my second wish was had more knowledge in missions or prepare me more in that, because when I was in more actions sharing the gospel in my church with the youth people, and I had the conviction to say, I am interested in being a missionary in the countries with difficult access, those countries, and that was the first inquietud. The first
Inquietud.
wish, maybe, wish,
Yeah,
conviction to say, I would like to prepare me for that, and to the other reason also. Then that's why I arrived here.
Okay. To prepare yourself for that.
Yes.
Now, did you have to to prepare yourself for missions? But the first seminary you went to was not for missions? It was for missions too, right?
No, the first seminary in Bolivia, that was with emphasis, bachelor degree in theology with emphasis in ministry.
Ministry.
Yeah, that was the emphasis.
Okay. Okay, so what master's program are you interested in now? Because I'm interested to know what...
MDiv, Master Divinity with emphasis in church planting. Yeah,
but through which school? Can you say through which school you were hoping to go to?
With other school? Yes, here there are many options. I have two in my mind, but one.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. Okay, so you're preparing yourself for missions, and you have something in your heart for closed countries or restricted access countries.
Yes.
But you also feel called to church plant in Latin America, right? So how do you feel like those two could be connected?
Yeah, that's interesting. How do you say anzuelo in English?
Anzuelo, like a hook?
Hook, yes, to catch the fishes.
Yeah,
okay, I think what that wish in my heart about be a missionary in countries with difficult access with the gospel was a hook.
A hook.
Hug of God to my other things here. When I was coming here, I understood two things, two purposes, what God was calling me here, or moving me here. And the first was what His wish was put me more close of Him, and the second purpose was teach me or show me where I will be in the next year in His ministry. I came with those two purposes in my heart, in my mind, and when I arrived here, I arrived with the idea of be a missionary in difficult countries and more. But when I arrived here, I remember in this place there are beautiful things, and one of that was what promote. They push you to the mission trips, and that's a beautiful experience. And when I arrived here, I knew what the school were preparing a mission trip to a country of this time, of same that name. And I applied to that mission trip, and we had a team. But in the last time, God closed the door. And that was the first time when I think, but I want, it's my personal wish. And it happened the same time when I was applying to go to other country with most difficult access than the others. And the last time He closed the doors. And when I was in Philippines and Thailand, you can see the other videos of the podcast. You have the story in that video also. And when I arrived to Philippines, that wasn't my option. And I was thinking, God, why are you showing me Philippines to be there if this country is very opposite to the other country, Philippines.
Philippines very open. The other
Yes.
country you were wanting to go to, one of the most closed.
Yeah, it's very opposite. You are free to preach the gospel. You are liberty to do that. But when I was there, I was asking God, where do you want me in your ministry? And I was talking with a missionary there from a country from Latin America, and I say this, hey, I think what I have a call to those countries with difficult access with the gospel, and I want to know if that's true or not. He was talking with me, and after he told me some interesting thing. Hey, do you know what is the most important the people? If it's most important to God, the people what are in big countries, big cities, or in those countries where you are thinking to be there. And I say, and he was thinking, look, here and here, the difficult countries and the normal countries, God paid the same price for all the people. Every soul has the same price. Then the important is where is God calling you. The important is not important where do you want to do the things for God, but the important is where is God guiding you, leading you, where is His will for you. Both places need the gospel, but where is God calling you? And that was very important to understand, because in that time I can say I leave a backpack of my bag. Understand that? I leave a backpack what I was charging in my carrying in my bag to say, okay, I'm not Christ, because sometimes I was thinking, it's my responsibility. Yes, it's my responsibility, but I am a soy un siervo.
Un servant?
Servant of God, and I don't decide. God will move me, and that's most important. What can I make for Him? And that was very, very important for me to understand. Okay, that was my desire. But if you are changing or moving me to understand a correct theology in that, perfect. But you know what I was available, and if you want me in other place, that will be great. And after, in that time, that mission trip, I was in Thailand 1 month after that. And in that mission trip was very important, beautiful, because I understood what God was teaching me. I am the first in your life, and where do you want to serve? It's a second place, but where, what's the most important? I am the most important, and where will you serve me? That's the second place. And that was other thing most important. And when I came here, I was seeking Him, and I was praying and more, and I was asking and praying, seeking information. And after I understood what God showed me about church planting. That's explanation of that.
So the church, okay, so first off, you were willing to go anywhere, but on the trip you feel last summer, which was almost the whole summer, or 2 months or something like that?
Yeah.
You feel God helped you to see that He is the most important thing, and where you will go depends on Him and is not as important as serving Him and putting Him first.
Yes.
And then, since then, He has been teaching you about church planting. How have you been learning about church planting?
How? How do I learn?
How have you been learning? Like, is that something you've been thinking about after last summer?
How do I know about that? I can say only what I was praying. I was praying. I understood in Thailand what I have to seek the face of God. Matthew 6:33. That was the versicle. What the pastor was reading in one day, and I say, okay, I have to seek more. And I was trying to seek more of God. And was in November of the last year. Yes, I was praying, and I was thinking, God, what? Tell me something. What do you want? I don't have idea. I will finish the seminary in a few months. I don't have nothing in my mind. And to be honest, really, I didn't have nothing in my mind. My mind was blank. And I was thinking, I can come back to my country to do this and this, or here, or Mexico. But I didn't have conviction to nothing. but I was praying and praying, and after I was thinking, where God and how can I do this or that, and I had the conviction to say, oh, church planting. I can say what I was studying about church planting before I was studying, but I had that conviction after a prayer time. Mm-hmm. That's how.
Church planting takes hard work and can sometimes take a long time to plant a church and to have it be healthy and strong. Mm-hmm. But I think it is one of the, it's a healthy way for God's church to grow, is to plant churches. So yeah. Okay. Yes. I have a bunch of other questions. Let's see where to start. I guess, and which direction to go first. Okay, so which one would be the most important in case we don't get to the others? Hey everyone, Billy Jackson here. This is our podcast, Entre Hermanos, and that means between brothers. We want the brothers and sisters of Christ hearing the stories of what God is doing to prepare future pastors and missionaries for His church. That's what we're trying to do. So if you enjoy the stories, share this podcast with others and have so that they can hear what God is doing around the world. And we hope that to grow and get better in telling these stories, and we hope that you will be able to enjoy them and praise the Lord for what He is doing. How do you speak English so well? Because you speak English really well. I didn't realize. I didn't realize you spoke English so well. Where did you learn English?
I love the English.
Okay.
But sometimes I had the opportunity to practice or to study English. Sometimes not. But when
in Bolivia?
In Bolivia, yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes, in the school, in the first grade, and after some words and vocabulary and lessons and more. And after I was studying in a center to English of the embassy in my country. Oh. And after when I was in Ireland, I arrived only for 2 weeks, but I left me 1 year and a half. And was in that time when I was studying English, I was a student studying English there.
In Ireland?
In Ireland, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But after I came back to my country, I was after 5 years or 6, and I didn't practice Spanish. And maybe right now you can listen a little better, because in this semester I had a little more time and I was practicing with the beautiful volunteers. Yes, yeah. They were helping me. They gave me them time to practice, only practice until.
Who were you practicing with?
Who?
Yeah.
Mike, Lorna, Joanna, Emmanuel, John.
But these all winter volunteers?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay, cool.
Yes,
cool. So they practice with them, even though you weren't taking English classes, right? Or were you?
Yes, I didn't take because, I made a revalidation. Revalidación.
Yeah. Okay. Of what? Of credits?
Yes. When I came here, I was studying other seminary. They put my score.
Okay. So I don't know what the technical term is, but like the credits from your previous, they were transferred. They were validated or valid for here.
Yes.
So you didn't have to take some classes.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
That's the reason.
So that's also why you could graduate quicker.
Yes, also. That's one reason more.
Okay, so your English is good. That's also good for missions, right?
Oh, thanks.
That helps.
You speak English then if you are telling that grade. If you are telling the same grade more. Thank God.
My other question was, why was your mom in Ireland? Why were you in Ireland? You said your mom was in Ireland?
There is a big story in my past. And it's difficult maybe sometimes to understand, but yes, maybe it is. Okay, I will give this context to understand a little. Um, 2 months ago, my mother died, and yes, 2 months ago. But I have two mothers. And when my mother was young, she was pregnant of me. Then she was very young to carry me, to support me.
She was very young.
Yeah.
How do you know how old she was?
No more of 18 years old.
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or 17, I'm not sure. Then her parents tell me her parents adopt me.
Okay.
I have the last name of my grandparents, but they are my parents. They were believers. They died. My father died 14 around years ago.
Okay.
13 years ago, and my mother died 2 months ago. Then the other person is my mother also, biological.
Your biological mother.
Biological mother.
Okay.
She's my mother also. I never lived with her, but when I was in Ireland, I lived with her for 1 year and a half.
Okay.
And that was a beautiful experience with her. That's why she was living in Europe and after in Ireland. When she was living in Ireland, I went to visit her for 2 weeks, but after I was 1 year and a half.
Yes. You went for a visit and then decided to stay.
Yes.
Okay. But why was she in Europe and in Ireland? For working or just to live there or just?
Yes, she was working. She was working before in other country in Europe, and after she went to Ireland.
Okay.
But she is living there many years ago. I'm not sure, 15 maybe.
Is your biological mom still alive then?
Sorry?
She's still alive, your biological mom?
Yes, my mother is. My biological mother is.
Yeah. And so you grew up with your mother and father were actually your grandparents, but to you they were your mother and father.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And I mean that is beautiful that they could adopt you and raise you and teach you. Did you ever know your biological father?
No, I don't know. That was a process to understand that. But yes, when I was 14 years old, maybe, or 13 years old, you are not a child and you are thinking, who is my father? What, this story? You are making connections of the stories and more. In that time was difficult time, but was a beautiful time to understand other things. But was in that time the doubts, the doubts in that time, but after not. But when I was a teenager, yes.
Okay. So you mentioned your grandparents, which your mother and father. I'll keep saying that just to make it not confusing, maybe. But were believers, were Christians?
Yes, they were believers.
So you grew up in a home like going to church?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's true.
When did you understand the gospel?
I'm not sure about the age, but I remember when I was in school, I went to a Christian school. That was a beautiful time. And I remember a beautiful teacher, Evelyn Menduina, that's the name. And Evelyn, I remember in my mind, I was maybe 4 years old. Every time when we finished the class, she was sharing the gospel. Every time, every class. And I remember what she was teaching about a dirty heart with the sinners, with the sins. But what happened when God gave His blood for all the people? And always she was asking you, do you understand if you're a sinner? And do you understand what is this the answer? Jesus Christ, have your Savior, putting your faith there. And I remember what, in my class, all the students were arrodillado,
We're kneeling
on the chairs. We were children, right? But we were praying, telling God, forgive us and more. I remember what in that time I believe I trust in God many times, but I had conviction for the salvation when I was 9 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, years ago.
And what happened when you were when you were 9?
When I was 9 years old, I don't remember nothing.
Okay.
Okay, I was a child in my family and more. My parents went to the church all the time, and they pushed me to see God and more. But I remember when I was 12 years old. Normally, I was a guy of 11, 9 years old. What is molestando y charlando y haciendo cosas.
Okay. So like maybe in English we say like a troublemaker?
Yes, troubles. Hey, we can play. Don't listen to the teacher.
Okay.
Hey, and I was catching the hairs of some people and more.
Yeah, pulling girls' hair.
Pulling, yes. Normally, I remember that. And I remember in that Sunday school, maybe the teacher pray more, I'm not sure. But she was telling, hey, Daniel, be quiet, please, be quiet. And I didn't hear she. And after, she was telling, okay, let's finish the class, and this is the story. This is the final story Bible, and if you want to preach the gospel to the other people, you can come and we can pray for you. And when she was telling that, I feel how something was catching my attention, and I was very focused listening to her, and I left all the things, and I was with her, listening to her, and she was telling, if you would like to preach the word of God, you can tell now with the other guys. And I remember what I was fascinated to listen that. And after I leave me quiet, and I remember what I arrived to my house, and I was not a prayer guy. I was 9 years old, and sometimes I read the Bible. But I remember what I went to my room and I arrodillarme.
I kneel down,
and I remember what I say, God, I want to preach your word where the people didn't listen you. And that was, I feel in that time what I had that ideas in my mind, and I had to say or to put outside of me. I didn't listen those words in other place, but I think that was the time when God was calling me to His ministry, or maybe moving me to His ministry, and I can see that difference after when I trust in Jesus.
Yes. From that time?
Yes, from that time.
Interesting. Do you feel like having a purpose, not just like being told what you were supposed to do, but having a purpose, like a mission from God, was part of what God used to change your perspective, to change your life?
In this time? After the missions?
Like when you were young, like when you were...
Oh,
9.
yes.
Because my children right now are 9, the oldest are 9 and 8, right? And I feel like they understand the gospel in their head, but it's hard to see it changing their life. It's hard to know what their heart is like, you know? So it's like hard to know what God will use to save them, to like, to really change their hearts, you know?
Yes. It's interesting how God is introducing or moving your heart to His purpose after. It's interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, feel free as we go along, and I'm asking questions. If you ever have any questions, you are free to ask questions too.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
But I was wondering what God used, and why you went to seminary the first time when you were 18?
Yeah.
So, because basically that means you didn't go to study a career or something like that, right? You graduated from high school
Yeah.
and then went to Bible college or seminary. Why did you do that the first time?
Why? Why I went to the seminary the first time?
In Bolivia.
Oh yeah, and because God was moving me to prepare me in a seminary, and when,
You weren't working in the church yet, right? It was later. You were the youth pastor.
oh yes, in that time I came back. I came back to the church because when I was 13 to 17, I didn't go to the church because there were some problems, the age of be a teenager and more.
Yeah.
And after, I turned on the radio and I had the conviction to be in a seminary, study the Bible. I don't know, but I had that in my mind that time.
So wait, so from like 13 through high school, through
Yes.
like la secundaria?
Yes,
Through the high school, you weren't going to church.
yes, I wasn't going.
Oh. And what did your mom and dad say about that?
They were quiet for some things, but after I talked about studying a seminary, after that.
And so did you just stop going because you weren't really interested? Like it wasn't interesting or what?
Or could you repeat?
Going to church? You stopped going
Oh,
to
yeah, why
church?
didn't I go?
Yeah.
Because my parents didn't go. They had a special reason, and I was happy because they didn't go to the church because I didn't like wake me up in the mornings on Sundays. Yes,
Well,
I was a teenager.
Can I ask what their reason was? Is that okay to ask?
Yes, maybe there. I don't remember all the story, but there was a problem, some internal problems in the church.
In the
with
church.
them. Yeah, some things what happened before.
But did they go to another church or no?
No, they were quiet in
Okay.
the house.
During the time you didn't go to church, from 13 to 18,
Yes, around.
did you read the Bible on your own?
Yes, that was interesting. I was in a school of other religion, and
A school of a different religion?
yes, different religion.
Like Catholic or
Yes,
what?
same that.
Uh-huh.
And maybe this is only God because when I was there, I remember when I was going to the school every day, most days, I was praying before God this and that, but I didn't have so much convictions when I was a teenager, biblical convictions. But I remember that some things what I learned in the church was about the prayer time, and when I was going to the school, I was praying before or in the nights, but I didn't have so good influence in the school, for example. Yeah, for many things, many reasons. But was in that time when I know more.
Okay. And then why, so you went from not going to church to, you said listening to the radio, something on the radio
Oh yeah.
made you feel that you should go to seminary.
Yes, I finished the high school, then
Because that's kind of a big jump, going from high school to seminary, even when you're not going to church.
yes, that's true because maybe it's only God because I wasn't going to the church, and when I finished the school, I was in the pressure of what will I do with my life? Yes, because I finished the high school. Then I was thinking, God, I will enter to the university, and I was 1 year and a half in the university, but I didn't have the conviction to be there, but I had some high desire in my heart about other things. And after, I was thinking, I don't know how, but in my mind, prepare me in a seminary. And after I was thinking in that, and I had a conviction in my heart of that, and one day I was thinking, I feel a pressure of many things. And I remember what I turned on the radio, and I was thinking before, God, are you calling me to your ministry? I didn't know those words, but I was asking me that. And after I turned on the radio, and the radio say, there was a famous singer, they have a special moment answering question of the people who listen to the radio, and say, there is one question for you to the singer, and this question say, how do I know what God is calling me to the ministry?
Yeah.
And when I listen in that, I say, hey, that's my question. And he say, hey, if God is calling to His ministry, you have to answer telling yes Him. And after, seek people what are serving God and more, other things. And I remember what that was the answer for me. And after I happens many things, and after I was coming back to the church, and after going to the seminary months ago. Months after.
Do you think those 5 or 6 years, did your parents help you pay for the seminary? Or
Yes.
did you have to work it all or no?
No. The church was helping me.
Oh, the church too?
The church was helping
Did you start going to church again when you were 18?
Yes, that church. And that
you
was
went back to the same church?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I went to the seminary to say I wasn't going to the church, and I had that conviction, and tia, aunt, niece, tu tia, mi tia.
Aunt.
Okay, and I was with the aunt. She helped me to seek information in the schools where somebody teach theology. Then I arrived to a seminary, and the person in that seminary told me, you can't enter because you are not going to a church. And he told me, you have to come back to your church, be a member of the church, and after you can.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good answer, right?
Yes, that wasn't very good for
Well,
me.
not for you.
Yes.
But it's a healthy church, a healthy answer for the Bible college, for the seminary.
Yes, he was very.
If someone is not part of their church, then they can't prepare to be a leader of the church.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was very interesting. Yes, was a beautiful experience, beautiful time.
Okay, so that's when you reconnected with the church and began going there again.
Yes.
Did you go there the whole 6 years? The same church? Did you ever go to a different church?
Yes, I was all my life. I was in the same church in Bolivia.
What kind of church is it?
It's same Baptist church, little same conservative.
Conservative Baptist church.
No Baptist exactly, but it's only an idea.
Oh, it's like Baptist. Okay.
Yes, conservative.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Do you feel like it was worth? I mean, so we can say that God is sovereign and has His plan, right?
Yes.
But do you feel like it was worth it? Those the 6 years that you studied in the seminary?
If I was working.
If it was worth it.
Work.
Si valió la pena.
Oh, yes.
If it was worth.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the time. The 6 year when I was there was beautiful, and was my beautiful experience to know more of God, to know more by experience with people who love God, pushing you. I didn't know God by walk with Him because 5 years ago I wasn't going to a church, but in that time I knew people who love God, people who were an impact to my life. I remember it was a beautiful experience. Beautiful experience.
Okay.
I remember a teacher, and he was a man of prayer, prayer man.
A man of prayer.
And that man challenged my life in that time. Was a beautiful time, yes. Knowing people of other countries, cultures, the preparation, study more, open the mind to the ministry.
Did people from other countries come to that seminary?
Yes.
Of South America, other countries of South America?
Ecuador and some of Argentina, but more of Ecuador.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Here, for your time here at this Bible college, who have been the people influencing you the most? Who you would consider your mentors in your time here?
That's difficult.
You mentioned the man of prayer that challenged you at the other Bible college. What was his name?
Pablo Verdugues.
Okay, so he's someone that challenged you and your life.
Yes,
there.
in that time, yeah.
Has there been anyone here in your time here that's challenged you like that?
There are many people, but But I put these people in the same line because we're a beautiful experience. I am thinking in 4 or 5 people what were close of me. But there were other people what was not close of me all the time. What they make some details what make a impact in my life.
Okay.
With some
So there's
occasions.
been, you said like 4 or 5 people who have been close to you.
Yeah.
But even some people who have not been close to you have made an impact in
Only
your life.
few unusual times.
Is it-
Yes.
Okay.
What were impacting some details.
Okay. Do you have anyone that you meet with regularly or outside of classes, or mostly is it just inside the classroom time? Someone that you meet with regular, like a mentor or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Or is it just with professors in the class in the classes?
The most common, yes, people from here talking about the staff or professor in the class or in the class, and some people what came to preach, and when they were preaching, they were talking about my life. You don't know who are there, I don't remember, but some occasion they arrive. So some people of them I can say thank you, maybe crying more, but I don't remember who are them, but staff and teachers, counselors, and other people what came to preach to the chapel.
As a whole, the 2.5, 3 years that you've been here, or have been studying, even online and here, what do you think has been the biggest change in your life? How has God been changing you? Or what has been the biggest impact you have seen in your studies?
In my studies?
In your, well, with the studies and everything,
Oh, yeah.
everything of the Bible college experience.
I love my story here in this time, in these 2.5 years. And when I told what before came here, God put in my heart what He was carrying me, bring me for 2 reasons, 2 purposes. The first was put me more close of Him, and the other show me His will to the next year in His ministry. And happened some experience, but maybe we don't have plans of that. But I think what He helped me to know more about Him was interesting. Again, when I was in Thailand, before he taught me, me enseñó,
Taught me. Before he taught me.
About what He was the first. But some months ago, I forgot that. And after, when I was in Thailand, He told me the same thing with other words. And what was beautiful. And that was a kind to teach me what He is the first. And yes, and the people, not only to be friends, but to invest the life in those people or those in you, those details. Yes.
Yeah.
More beautiful.
And what would you say has been the hardest thing during your time here? Maybe the hardest challenge or the most difficult part of your time at the Bible college here?
¿Cuál es?
The most difficult, the biggest challenge, that would be in Spanish, el reto más grande o la dificultad más grande
Oh, yeah.
in your time at Rio
Here.
Grande.
Hands up and say, okay, God, where are you guiding me? I want to trust in you. Just surrender or hands up to say, okay, your will. This experience, when I was going to the first country, was beautiful because I remember we maybe were a team where we love everyone, and we were praying one day, 1 month before to travel, and we were praying, and we were praying, and I had a conviction to say, I will pray, and I was praying, and saying how, Father, what happened if you want to move our faith, and after in the last moment you change our plans and you want to see our answer? And I was crying after that. And when was the last 1 week before to travel maybe to that country, el encargado,
The leader?
the leader of mission told, hey, don't buy the ticket flight to that place because tomorrow we have a meeting time. And he said, okay, that mission trip is, you can go to that place, but you have this option. And I remember that.
He said you can't go to that place.
Yes.
And why could you not go?
There was a problem with the leadership in that church.
Okay, okay.
And I remember those words when I was praying. And what happened if God in the last time, He changed the plan and He see your faith? That was a beautiful experience to understand.
But it was difficult, like you were saying, like to be planning to go to one place
Yes.
and being focused on that, and then that plan being canceled, that trip being canceled.
In the last moment, that's not easy.
And so, like, just that, putting your hands up, saying, Lord, you're in charge of taking me where you want.
Yes, and I say the first thing also because in that time I was thinking to go to that mission trip, and in that time I had the conviction in my heart, I think God telling me, you will not have to go there to the second option. And I remember at that time the leader of mission told, you have 24 hours to decide if you want to go to other country or not. And in that moment I know what the answer was, you don't go. And I have to say the other day, I don't go. Then I leave me to the seminary working in el campo.
Working in maintenance.
Maintenance,
uh-huh.
yes. And here in the valley, if you don't know, it's very hot weather.
It's
very hot weather.
It's hard work working outside.
Yes, and I was working outside around 10 or 11 weeks here in the sun.
In the summer?
Yes, in the summer. And it was a beautiful experience because I had the opportunity to travel to Mexico with a friend. Then, to be honest, I was angry with God because He closed me the door in the last moment.
Because you didn't go on that mission trip.
Yes, and I say, God, you leave me. You leave me in annoyed, vergüenza. Ashamed to the other people because I was...
Or embarrassed.
Yeah, I was seeking support, and now I will say, I don't go.
But that is hard to ask for support, raise support, make all the plan, and then not go.
Yes, and the interesting after that was when I was in Mexico with this friend. Some friend invited us to her church, and I say I'm not going to teach. I'm going to be a tourist and nothing more. And the last day, that person say, guys, would you like to teach about mission to my children? And she say, this is my class, and the children were around 10 years old and more. And after we say with this friend, okay, we can make something, and I think our testimony. And after we were in that class, maybe they were around 15 or 20 children. I was sharing my testimony, and I finished of sharing my testimony about how do I know Jesus and more, because they were talking about missions. And I finished that, and that friend didn't tell me well, there was a time to say questions. And after, when I finished, one girl put the hands up. I have a question. And I saw her, and the teacher told her, yes, you can ask. And she say, can we preach the gospel to the countries of difficult access? And that saying, in that moment in my heart, God, what are you telling me? You know what, I was available to go to that place, and you are asking me that? Are you playing with me? What happened with you? And I was very angry, to be honest. And in that moment, I feel in my heart, can you see? You have that in your heart for me. And I remember when I finished of giving my testimony in that time, before before the question of that girl, I had in my heart a conviction how now you will answer me. And that left me quiet, and that was, I was with expectative of that question. And that girl made that question, and I was crying and telling, I don't know. And I was explaining about the mission trip and more, but that was beautiful to say, okay, I don't go, but now I will have a good attitude when you say no or when you say yes to go.
Yeah, okay, so I think that's one of the miracles we see in our lives, is that God uses even the hard things, the painful things to teach us, right? And to grow us. What would you say is the most difficult thing, or the worst thing, a bad thing, the worst thing that's happened in your life, in your whole life?
In Spanish,
What would you say, qué dirías fue la cosa peor que te ha pasado en tu vida, como, o la cosa más difícil en toda tu vida? Is your English brain running out?
Yeah, I'm thinking that
I understand that my sometimes my Spanish brain runs out, shuts down.
I am remembering in English, and I would like to answer in Spanish. Having some beautiful things, and when I am thinking beautiful things, I am thinking in things que duelen mucho.
That hurt a lot.
Okay.
Things that hurt a lot.
Yeah. I am thinking in this. One day I was in a prayer time. They were praying for me. They were praying for me only. They were sit there and more. And after, they were praying for me specifically, and I remember what I fall down to the floor, fall down, and I know what happened there, and I feel what God was confrontándome.
He was confronting you?
Confronting me about my personal wish, what were hide, and I remember
your personal wish. What?
Personal wish, what I was hiding.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I always had I am 35 years old. In that time I was 5 years old. And I didn't say, but my personal wish, my purpose in the life was be a good father. Have a beautiful father. Why? Because I didn't that father in my life. Because maybe I had an absent father. Because when I was child, I need a father, and I would like to give that love what I didn't receive.
Yeah.
I would like to be married only to be a man for that woman, and wish a wife was the first thing in my life. The first thing of all the things. God wasn't in my plan. Then the other reason was what I would like to have children, because they could love me, and for me that will be all the things in my life. And I remember when those people were praying for me, I was screaming in the floor, but I feel the hug of God. Yeah?
Okay.
And He was touching me and whisper me in my heart, telling me who's the first in your life. And I can explain, but I feel in me what this thing, what I say, was I was exposing that. I was showing that with some words, and after I was screaming, God, forgive me, you are not the first. And in that time, I remember what I was screaming with conviction: a wife will not be the first in my life. Be a father is my big wish, but it not be the first in my life. Have children will not be the first in my life, but only you are the first in my life, and I feel a conviction how he was hugging me, abrazándome.
Oh, he was embracing you or
Embracing
hugging
me,
you. Yeah.
And that was difficult because I
Yeah.
was to recognize that in my heart.
You were giving up
Yes,
something that was very important to you,
yes,
but that God was showing was an idol if he was not first, right?
yes.
Why were they praying for you?
We were in a time of counselor time.
Time of counseling?
Counselor time, counseling,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a session to pray, a prayer time for. I was
Was
making
this at church or at school?
in a ministry of counseling.
Oh,
ministry.
a counseling
Yeah.
ministry? Okay.
When that was a part of a course. When you finish of that the course, that is a step. It's a step of the course.
That everyone pray for you.
Yes, everyone. They
Yeah.
are sit here. They don't do nothing. They only pray. They don't are talking. They are praying in the mind and praying.
Oh, wow.
Was very interesting.
Yeah, because that sounds like that was an important moment for you.
Yes.
Giving up a dream or a desire, a
Yes.
wish.
The idea of that course is what you have to be in the seat of a counselor. Tienes que estar en la silla del aconsejado.
Yeah. In the seat of the council.
Then when in your life there are things what you need the light of God, you have to pray. And they were praying for me what God guide or teach using the word what happened in some details.
So you're 35 now. You're older.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, it looks like you live in the men's dorm, right?
Oh yes.
Okay, so from my perspective, you're older and more mature than most of the men coming in, the single students, right? How has that been? Do you feel like, is that challenging? I mean, some of them are 17 or 18. Some of them are maybe not as mature in some ways. Has that been a challenge to you, or do you feel the Lord has helped you with that? I don't know. That's just something I'm curious about because you're a little bit older, and then a lot of the single students that are coming.
Yeah, it was a challenge because we don't have the same mind. We don't have the same. Not only the culture, but the mind is different.
Yeah, it's true. Also, the culture is different too. There's different cultures.
They are 19 or 20 maybe, and you are 35. Then it's different. But I have to understood this one. I am a old brother.
An older brother.
And understand what I have to be patient with them, and they have to be patient with me because I can see good things and bad things in them, but they can see good and bad things in me. I think what my roomies know me more, but was a beautiful experience to be with others, to walk with others.
What students have been your roomies? Have been your roommates
Before? The names? Adrian.
Yeah, he's from Bolivia too.
Yes,
though.
he's from Bolivia.
Was that easier?
Yes. And he was my first roomie. We know more. Yes, what's a beautiful experience with them. Maybe one semester only with.
Okay.
And the other was Johan, and the other now is Ignacio.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel that feels like 3 levels. God gave you level 1, level 2, and now level 3.
Yeah.
Hardest level.
Yeah. Yes. I love my roomies. Before came the seminary, I was praying for that. Put the roommates, put the people, what I can be a blessed to those life, and the same help me and more, because before I was living with roomies when I was in other seminary and I knew an idea. But I love to my roomies, to be honest. I love because I see how our brothers, yes, sometimes you you don't think the same, you have troubles and more. Yes, but they are the son of God and they are my brothers. That's the parameter, the conviction to see them.
Do you know where you're going to go after May, after the May graduation, or not yet?
I have some conviction. I have some things of that, but I understood what God can change in the last moment the plans. But the idea is, that's why I am telling. The focus is church planting, but after I am making my steps, but after He will show.
Well, I think we've taken probably all the time we can take today. I would keep asking questions like, who will you church plant with, and how will you make a team, and will you partner with your church or a missions agency? But we should stop for now. You have a camp to get ready for in a little bit.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing some of your story and what God has done in you. And if you have suggestions for how I can do better with these stories in English with the students, let me know. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing with us.
Oh, thank you so much for the invitation, and thank you for all the people that were listening. And it was a beautiful time to talk about what was making this time. And God can use this story a little to edify your life also. Thank you for your time.